Hi, everyone, and welcome to Smoke Signals. I'm Matt Montgomery, along with head football coach and athletic director Wayne Coleman. Coach, you had the bye week this last week. Tell our viewers and listeners what you got accomplished in the bye week. I know you got a lot of little nicks and bruises healed up.
We did, but we went out a couple days and got real physical. Worked on tackling, some live tackling, probably more physical than we've been since I've been here in the last 5 years. So our kids they understand the message.
This is the second season. District starts against Nacogdoches down at Dragon Stadium, and the non-district schedule, Coach, I guess you got accomplished what you wanted to. I know the record may not reflect that, but you played some really good teams. What, the combined record for all three of the teams, Carthage, Henderson, Palestine, 9-3?
9-3,
right?
yeah. Those three teams have had a really good, solid start. Good competition. Found out a lot about ourselves. Your weaknesses aren't going to be as glaring unless you play quality opponents, and we definitely identified some of our problem spots, and I think we got better during the open week.
The Henderson game was so strange. I mean, it's 37-34 Henderson with about 7 minutes to go in the third quarter, and then their running game just took over, and it was really just a spurt right there at the end of the third quarter to start the fourth quarter that put the game out of reach.
Yeah, momentum plays a part in football maybe more than any other sport. You do see it in basketball. You see runs in basketball, and there was just a run in that game, in the Henderson game, that stretch there of about 4 or 5 minutes where they really got on a roll, and we weren't able to stop them. And you can't let a dynamic team like that, get on that kind of a roll.
Yeah, it seemed like the game turned on the interception with Clater throwing it to Casey, and he got, I thought, targeted, and they didn't, maybe not, I can't see everything down there. Anyway, the ball popped up, they picked it off. That's when the game seemed to turn.
Yeah, it did. That was kind of just barely on our end of the field, and it set them up. We had just gotten the ball back from them. We finally got a chance to take the lead, and we turned the ball over. They get new life, and it was on for there.
A lot of points in the game, Jacksonville versus Henderson. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Starting off here, Henderson running the football right here. Nice tackle there. Good job.
Knee down right there. Kid rolls out of it, and they don't call him down, and he runs in for the touchdown.
Yeah, one of those just got to finish plays.
Yeah.
And here's the pass that Chris Carpenter throws to Freeney in the end zone. What a great throw and catch right here.
Chris, does a lot of things well. He's got a really good arm. Could have been a quarterback in a lot of other programs.
Yeah. Freeney really went up and got that. Now here's Clater to Carpenter for 48 down to the 4.
Yeah, big play on 3rd and long here, and Chris beats the man coverage.
And here's that combination again, Clater to Carpenter for the score. Nice ball fake.
Yeah, good RPO execution by Patrick there.
And here's Clater to Freeney. Freeney's getting a lot of looks, Coach. Everybody's all over Carpenter, and there's Freeney stepping up.
Freeney he's a great second receiver right there, can beat man coverage himself.
And here's the TCU commit Medford right here getting hit and sacked here behind the line of scrimmage. Good pursuit.
Such a great athlete. You really have to gang tackle him.
Defensively, here comes Bryson Tatum, your outstanding junior linebacker, with a hit, causes the fumble. Casey comes up with it.
Yeah, just a nice play by both those kids.
Tyrese getting in the passing game here.
Yeah, and Tyrese is another. We've got some receivers, some guys that can make plays. We're gonna have to rely on those guys in district.
Well, this is a play a lot of fans were talking about here. Look at Freeney turns the Jets on right here and just leaves them.
He can run, and that kid's going to be able to play ball at the next level if he chooses to do so. He's got a great soccer career ahead of him also.
Does. Offensive player of the year in the district last year in soccer.
Yeah, he's a great athlete. We're lucky to have him, out there playing receiver for us. And when people try to double Chris, we've got some other options to go to.
Well, make no doubt about it. I mean, Henderson's a good football team, and you scored 40 points on them, and offensively. But Coach, you said you guys worked on tackling this last during the bye week, and it was your kids seemed to be in position to make the play. The schemes were good. They were out there. They just didn't execute.
Yeah, and it's a lot of times it's a matter of on your run fits not leaving too big of a hole for a kid to make a tackle. And all run-fit defenses are designed to leave one player unblocked in the hole. Well, that's fine as long as the hole isn't too big. So you can't leave a kid in too much space to tackle a kid like Medford, because that kid can make you miss. That old saying about you can't tackle a kid in a phone booth. You actually want to leave the size of a phone booth to make tackles in. You can't leave storage unit size holes to tackle
Not
Medford.
for that guy. You can't.
Not for him, no. So we've got to get better on our fits, squeezing the holes, making the holes small, and we got to be better tacklers. We've got to do both those things, and we worked really hard on those things in the open week.
So District 9 5A kicks off this week down in Nacogdoches. The Dragons played Robert E. Lee very well before the bye week. They got beat 35-28 up at Rose. And Coach, this is a team. They bring their quarterback. He's back. They got some receivers back. This is a Nacogdoches team, I think, more powerful than they were last year.
They've gotten better every week. They're learning their new system. The quarterback is a playmaker. It just seems like that's the name of the game these days. Everybody's quarterback is a playmaker, and he's played a lot of games for them. He led them to the playoffs last year, so he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Speaking of playmakers, I know that you got Patrick Clater more involved in the running game this last week on that zone read, and he did a good job. Had a lot of yards rushing.
He does. Anytime you run your quarterback, it opens up the run game for your running backs. So we've got to keep evolving that, and it's just a fine balance between when you've got such a good passer and Patrick, how much do you run him with the ball?
This is such a big game from the standpoint of not only has it opened up district play, but it is a game on the road. And if you can go down there and you get a win on the road, Coach, then you've got the majority of the next games at home. And this could be a big week for your football team to steal one on the road, if you will.
Yeah, that's true. We're talking about 7 games left. 4 at home, 3 on the road. You start on the road. You know, if you can get this one on the road, and you hate to say you're in the catbird seat, but you feel really good about yourself. Yeah.
Talk about Nacogdoches offensively. You've mentioned their quarterback. They've got a big offensive line too. Again,
they've got their center is a great, no doubt, all-district football player. He's a great player, and their running back is a really good player. He returns, so they've got kids in the right places to do things. They return 2 receivers also that guy has been thrown to for a couple years. So they really can do some stuff on offense. And we're going to have to really, the things that we've worked on the last couple weeks, fixing our run fits, becoming better, more physical tacklers, those things are going to have to come through for us.
I remember 2 years ago at Tomato Bowl when Dontrell threw the 7 touchdowns in the first half. Nacogdoches had brought up a lot of young sophomores on the varsity. Those guys are seniors now.
Yeah, a lot of those guys that we were torching that night are now seniors, and they're going to be a lot more difficult to beat this week. So we're going to have to be creative, do some things on offense, and you don't want to get outside of yourself. You want to do what you do. You just have to be prepared for. They've had 2 weeks to get their defense ready, for us. So what changes are they going to make? So we got to try to stay ahead of the curve, when it comes to game planning.
And non-district is such a chess game. You want to go out, you want to win the game, you want to compete, but you don't want to show too much because these are the games coming up that count. And you got to believe obviously Nacogdoches is going to come in trying to double up Chris Carpenter, take him away from you. But now they got Freeney, you got Tyrese. Aaron's running the ball well behind your offensive line. What will Nacogdoches try to do to take away those weapons?
Wow. I think they're going to mix it up and show some stuff we haven't seen. We've seen a lot of man coverage the first 3 games, which is typical for East Texas. That's kind of the base coverage in East Texas. Everybody's got good athletes in the secondary. So I would expect Nacogdoches is going to mix it up on us and not let us see so much man coverage.
Many changes defensively as far as scheme goes from non-district to this starting off with district. I mean, is it going to be less complicated or is it going to be more stunning? What's your look going to be like?
Yeah, we've definitely adopted the KISS
keep it simple.
Philosophy. We're going to keep it simple, and we've moved some personnel around into some different spots, places where we think that those kids can be more successful. So we're going to try to keep it simple for our kids and let them be more aggressive. Maybe less thinking will make us better tacklers.
One thing, Coach, and before we get to the keys to the game that I noticed in the Henderson game is that even when the score got to where it was and the game was seemingly over, your kids kept playing. I've seen some teams in the past that kind of stopped, and so it seems like the MO of this team is just keep playing, keep fighting through. I mean, they started that with the Carthage game when that game was kind of out of reach too.
Yeah, and what happens is when you have that big comeback in the Palestine game, then your kids understand the reason why you have to keep playing 48 minutes. And you see it every week. Somebody makes a big comeback. UCLA came back from I don't know how much down this week. They did it again this week to win a big game. So the more that our kids see that and understand that, and it's just a reflection of their character also. You want that kind of a team playing for you in Jacksonville, kids that never quit.
Keys to the game to get the win.
Obviously, play better on defense, be better tacklers. I think we've done a lot to fix our run fits and squeeze down the holes for that goes. We're going to put a little more stress, maybe on our secondary than we have been. We've been kind of sitting back trying to protect them a little bit because Carthage and Henderson had such good passing games. We're going to have to put a little more stress on them. And then offensively, just keep clicking. We've done a good job of throwing and catching. We got to keep doing that.
District 9-5A kicks off this Friday night at Dragon Stadium at 7:30 kickoff. We'll be on the air on jhs-sports.com, live streaming at 6:45. For head coach Wayne Coleman, I'm Matt Montgomery. We'll see you next time right here on Smoke Signals.